What if the greatest illusion in modern civilization isn't politics, technology, or even freedom?
At
What if every nation you've ever believed was independent is actually held in place by an invisible machine, one so old, so deeply engineered, and so profitable that escaping it is nearly impossible? You're told countries borrow money to grow. You're told debt is normal. You're told everything is under control. But none of that explains the biggest mystery of all. If every nation is drowning in debt, why hasn't the system collapsed? And more importantly, who is the system really designed to enrich? Today we're pulling apart the gears of the global debt machinery, where it began, who engineered it, how it traps nations, and why even when countries try to escape, the machine pulls them back in. Because the truth is far stranger and far more calculated than anyone was ever supposed to know. To understand the trap, we need to step back, not decades, but centuries before digital banking, before Wall Street, before the IMF or World Bank. We go to a time when money wasn't numbers on a screen, but metal, gold, grain, or land. Kings didn't take loans, they collected tribute. Empires didn't borrow, they conquered. Debt existed, but it was a personal contract, not a national one. Then, around the 1600s, something revolutionary and dangerously brilliant appeared: the world's first central banks, not state banks, not treasuries, but private institutions granted the power to lend to governments themselves. This was the twist, a twist that would shape the next 400 years, because giving a private lender power over a national government is like giving oxygen control to the company that sells fire. You're about to see how the first spark turned into the modern world's financial forest fire, one that governments still pretend they can control. The first design blueprint, 1600s, 1700s, it begins with the Bank of England in 1694. The British Empire broke from war, needed money. A group of wealthy financiers had the money, but wanted something in return, not land, not gold, not political titles. They wanted permission. Permission to create money out of thin air and lend it at interest to the British government. That agreement created a new loop. Bank prints money. Government borrows it. Government taxes citizens to repay it. Bank profits. To fight more wars, government borrows again, a self-feeding cycle. This model was so effective, so profitable, and so quietly powerful that other nations copied it. Central banks spread across Europe, then across the world. But here's where the machinery becomes dangerous. The moment money became debt-based, created only when someone borrowed it, guaranteed that the system could never be paid off. Because if all money is created as debt, repaying it destroys the money supply. That's not a bug. That's the design. The machine didn't truly come alive until the 1900s. This is where you see the gears snapping into place. The Federal Reserve, 1913, the United States, by then, a rising power, copied the old European model. Private bankers met in secret on Jekyll Island and engineered a centralized monetary authority. They claimed it would stabilize the economy. Instead, it centralized debt creation. But the real transformation came into blows. Blow number one. The gold cutoff, 1933. During the Great Depression, the U.S. government outlawed private gold ownership. You could no longer redeem dollars for anything physical. Money was becoming a symbol. Blow number two. The final break, 1971. In 1971, President Richard Nixon ended the gold standard completely. For the first time in history, major global currencies were backed by nothing. No gold, no silver, no commodity, just trust. Or rather, trust in the debt machinery. From that moment on, governments no longer needed to collect money to spend. They could create it. Creating money meant creating debt, because modern money isn't printed by governments. It's created by banks when loans are issued, and multiplied through a process called fractional banking. That process turns every $1 into $10 or more circulating dollars. A system built not on wealth, but on obligation. That's when national debt began skyrocketing around the world. Here's where the story takes its darkest turn. What happens when a country tries to escape the machinery? History gives us examples, and they're rarely peaceful. Argentina, multiple defaults. Every attempt to escape debt came with a different trap. Inflation, IMF conditions, forced privatization, capital flight. The country kept being pulled back into loans it couldn't refuse. Greece, 2010 to 2015, Greece tried to renegotiate its crushing debt. What did it get? Austerity, unemployment, and foreign-controlled economic reforms. Sri Lanka 2022, when Sri Lanka's government attempted to restructure spending instead of borrowing more. Imports collapsed, inflation exploded, and the nation had no choice but to request more loans at harsh terms. Any country refusing the machine faces three possible outcomes: currency crisis, political destabilization, being locked out of global financial markets. The debt machinery doesn't need violence. It only needs control over the flow of money. Cut the flow. Economies collapse on their own. The result of this machinery is global dependency on debt, not as a tool, but as a fuel that must be constantly burned. Let's look at the fallout. 1. Ever-rising national debt. The US, EU, Japan, China, UK, every major economy has hit historic debt levels. But the system isn't malfunctioning. It's working exactly as designed. 2. Permanent inflation. When money creation becomes endless, purchasing power slips quietly away. People blame prices, but it's the system reducing your wealth by design. 3. Wealth concentration. Debt doesn't just create money, it transfers wealth upward. Every interest payment flows into the hands of the very institutions that create the debt in the first place. For economic dependence, nations caught in debt cycles cannot choose independent economic policies. They must choose the policies their creditors allow. This is the hidden form of control the machine provides. You don't need to conquer countries when you control their money. Throughout history, leaders have tried to break the machine. Some tried stricter regulations. Some tried nationalizing banks. Some tried printing their own money. None worked, because the debt machinery is built on three unbreakable pillars. Money is created as debt. No borrowing equals no money supply. Interest makes debt unpayable by design. Someone must always owe more than exists. Nations rely on continuous economic growth. But unlimited growth on a limited planet is mathematically impossible. Leaders don't fix this system because fixing it would mean collapsing it. Collapsing it would mean economic chaos on a scale no government wants to risk. So the machine isn't repaired, it's maintained. You can see the machinery's fingerprints everywhere today. Record global debt, worldwide debt, just past $315 trillion, more than 3x global GDP. This isn't sustainable, but the system requires expansion. Loan-driven economies, housing, education, business growth. If its survival now depend on loans, not productivity, it's not savings, debt, central banks as lifeboats. Whenever crises hit, central banks step in with more debt. 2008, 2020, 2023. Every crisis creates the next round of money printing, a new player. Digital currencies, CBDCs, central bank digital currencies, represent the next evolution of the machinery. Programmable money with total tracking and complete control, not freedom, efficiency for the machine. The pattern is clear. More debt gives more dependency, gives more control. The gears are turning faster than ever. 3 key takeaways. 1. National debt isn't a mistake. It's the operating system of modern economies. It is engineered to expand endlessly and keep nations reliant on those who issue money. 2. The debt machine grows stronger when people understand it least. Confusion is fuel. Silence is strategy. 3. No nation is truly independent when its money is created by someone else. Political power means little if financial power is outsourced. The debt machinery has reached a point where growth can no longer outrun obligations. When a system needs infinite expansion to survive, but hits a finite world, reset becomes inevitable. It won't be announced. It won't be debated. It will simply happen. The real question is, will people see it coming, or only recognize it once the world has already changed? If you want more deep dives into the hidden architecture of our financial world, the systems, the secrets, the patterns behind the headlines, subscribe, share this video, and let me know in the comments which part of the debt machinery you want decoded next. Knowledge isn't just power, it's protection. And the more people understand the machine, the less power it has over us.